Good afternoon and welcome to Harveywetdog. And I just wanted to say a little bit this afternoon about the situation at Altnabreac railway station in Scotland, in the far north of Scotland, and some of the goings on there that I've been reporting in my posts and on a few videos. Now, I have to look at this as an impartial outsider. There are some elements of the story that are quite difficult to cover, quite toxic, and as I've said in my blogs, I'm not going to touch those. Family disputes have to be settled in family. Now, I'm just going to look at this as a story of somebody who has bought a property alongside a railway station and then found that there were issues with that railway station. Now, I don't know whether they were promised that they'd be able to make an income from their location at the time of their purchase, and I don't know if they've been put off by the planning applications that seem to be happening all around them, and especially the way those planning applications are clearly following a political agenda and have been approved on the nod, if you like, that there haven't been, or don't appear to have been, a serious challenge within the planning application or within the planning process. Now, I actually think that the issue of the ownership of Station Cottage is, and the area that covers, is quite simple to resolve. We have a good definition of Station Cottage as it was several years ago. We know exactly where its north, west, south boundaries were. They're still quite clearly marked on the map. The area was 0.34 acres, and so it shouldn't be very difficult to plot across, survey across, and find out where that leaves the boundary. Obviously, Station Cottage today is 0.43 acres, but that extra land, again, on the west side is well defined. It's worth mentioning that extra piece of land, because if you look at the title deeds of Station Cottage and the access that it grants to Network Rail as the successor of British Rail, there is no doubt that it has been isolated by the addition of that extra 0.09 of an acre. It is not possible to get to it without crossing Station Cottage land, which is why the access on the east is now so important to define. But obviously that was the situation that the present owners of Station Cottage inherited by dint of their purchase. So as I say, it would be possible to set the eastern boundary, and it would be possible to come to a compromise on that. But the additional complexity that we now find ourselves in, or the two parties find themselves in, is that the occupants of Station Cottage believe that within their deeds for the property, it gives them this additional rights outside the boundaries, outside the 0.43 acres that they purchased. These rights go under the title of Solum, and that seems to mean different things to different people. and certainly doesn't mean anything to anybody in England. It's very much a Scottish way of working, and we have to remember that the Scottish law system is totally different to the English law system. So this concept of solemn ownership and solemn rights, and that the owners of Station Cottage own more than they appear to own, and that Network Rail don't own anything within the area, is where the issue now really lies. And on the channel you will see many conflicts between people trying to go about doing their work on the station and the owners of Station Cottage. Some of that is a little contrived, but clearly it can't go on. You can't be in a situation where you're trying to do work and yet your operators have got to wear body cams, be extremely mindful of what they say and what they do. When all the time all you're really trying to do is provide a public service. One thing that is absolutely certain, of course, is that there is no business case for Altnabreac station. If this train service was run as a business, you would shut the station down tomorrow. In fact, you would probably have shut it down 20 years ago. This is a public service. It is a Scottish government mandate that no railway stations in Scotland will close. And so the operator is between a rock and a hard place. He has something to run, Altnabreac station, that is not only not making him money, it's also proving extremely difficult to maintain. And yet on the other hand, he's got a strong government desire, not just a desire but a mandate not to close the station. I don't know how they'll get through this. Obviously they're hoping that the application of civil law will give them a result, but I do feel it's got a long way to run yet. There are two channels, Altnabreac Uncovered and Altnabreac Cover Up. They give two quite different sides of the story. All you can do is watch both and decide for yourselves. Thank you.